Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. This is the Hot Poll Podcast. It's a podcast, and this is a podcast. I'm your host, Adam Steele, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Liam Wright. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit peeved off with. I was talking to you about NFTs. There's been a rather bad NFT launch this evening that's cost me about $120 in gas fees.
Oh.
Without even managing to get what I wanted. So yeah, a bit peeved off.
Not
gonna
well,
lie.
that's something we can talk about in a little while, because I still don't really know what that's all about.
Well, I'm not really in the best mood for NFTs today, so
no. Well, maybe we can talk about it next week. That is fine. I am drinking a Damson gin and lemonade, being very posh. The Damson gin was something I had a little bottle of that I nicked from a wedding about 2 years ago. It's been sat in the cupboard. And I'm out of beer and I fancied a drink. So cheers, everybody. Also, Mickey had some strawberries in the fridge, so I borrowed one. No, she's not getting it back, so I took it. And yeah, lots of ice and nice lemonade. There you go. So yes, this is our music tech podcast, although you wouldn't believe it from looking at that as an introduction, but that is all good. So, there's lots to talk about this week. The new Audacity has finally been released, which it feels like forever. To go the also. We've been sent things, and I've got stuff that's come back as well. So there's going to be quite a bit of show and tell this week, which is exciting. So while everybody files in, let's roll the intro. Yes, hello to all our regulars in chat who were here yesterday. Yes, I'm losing track of my days now. I completely can't remember what day it is. But it's been an incredible week for me. I've been incredibly busy. Starting with something that's completely not music tech related, I hacked my PlayStation 3. Because I can. Because now it's old enough that I don't care. So I thought, why not? It's something because I always like to have something on the go, as our regular viewers will know. It's how my brain works. But to unwind, I mess with stuff that isn't necessarily music tech related, because that way if I break it, it's not really related to the channel, and I can just kind of tinker about with it as a distraction. So yeah, I spent about 2 days learning how to hack the whole thing, so now I'm backing up all my games to my PS3 with a newly upgraded hard drive, just because.
Cool.
But yeah, that's been one of the things. In amongst that, one of the big projects that I've continually told you all that I can't tell you about was finished today. So that will be released very soon, and I'll be able to actually tell you all about it. And I'm very relieved. I also finished today filming, since I saw everybody last week, I filmed the talking sections for the Celestian video that I keep going on about. It was 2 hours worth of talking. That's not including retakes. That's just 2 hours. Yeah. Woof. And then I was back in the studio today, finishing that off because Zilla, sent me the new Celestian Hempback speaker, because Celestian literally don't have any, and they're so busy apparently that even the guys in the office are spending every spare minute they have on the factory floor. That's how busy they are. So yeah, I asked them, can you send me a couple of prototypes? And they were like, yeah, we'd love to, but we just we're too busy. But luckily for me, Paul from Zilla had like the first prototypes of the Hempback that had been sent to test. So he's done me a massive favour and sent one of them over to me, which I'm sending it back. But yeah, big shout out to them. Wanted to mention that because that's it's a really good thing for them to do. Is they've got this prototype thing, and they've still just kind of lent it to me, which very much appreciated. So yeah, cool. Cheers. I sent the old Marshall off for repair, and it is back. So I'm going to switch to a different view, which, of course, if you're listening to this on a podcast, that makes no difference to you at all. But I'm just going to move this microphone back, and I'm going to grab the amp and show you, because it's old and knackered and new and shiny all at once. Uh-oh. As I stand up, the arm of the chair gets caught underneath. There we go. This thing weighs a ton. And this, I'll have to put the headphones back on so I can hear Liam, is the... come on. Don't have enough hands to do all of this safely.
Ooh.
I need a wider angle camera lens, but because I'm an idiot, I've left my wider lens at John Brown's place. Or at least the easy wide lens. All the really nice wide lenses are with me in a Peli case, but they're all manual lenses, and you don't really want to be messing with that on a podcast. So, anyway, this is a 1978 Marshall JMP, and it weighs an absolute ton. And apparently it was full of white mold, which has been fixed.
Oh, right.
Yep, it was potentially lethal in the way that it wasn't grounded properly. That's been fixed. Yeah. There were a lot of things that were really wrong with it, which is why I took it to the repair people. So I took it to Roland at the Amp Clinic, who's an amazing man, who spent 5 hours doing not only the actual electronic safety stuff, but he actually put new rubber feet on it and put new knobs on and all that kind of stuff. Real attention to detail. Good stuff. And now, for the really interesting thing, because I've been sent a parcel from, I think it's from Marty, one of our mods in chat. I don't know what's in this. So this is a grand reveal on camera, and I'm going to actually find something sharp to open the box first, because it's got our address emblazoned upon it. So I will quickly open the box, flip those out of view, and then we can explore. I'll move the camera then, so we can explore together. So yeah. Oh, that whole thing's come off. Cool. Right, that made life easier. This is now wrapped around my head. There we go. I need to work out safer ways of doing things with headphones. Let's reach over and tweak this. Oh, too much. There we go. There we go. Let's see what's in this box. So we have a note. It's from Marty. Yeah, it's from Marty. It's a very Dutch box. Ooh. And the note says, "Dear Adam, here's a little gift from me to you and yours, a Dutch treat package. Some of it is awful, maybe an acquired taste. Some of it is sweet." Contents of the box. The t-shirts from Richie Castellano's Band Geek YouTube channel. That's awesome. I'll definitely be wearing that. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Oh, your mix is whack.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely be wearing that. Especially with me getting more and more outboard gear with VU meters on, I'll be able to look at it. Drop licorice is a very Dutch thing. Drop licorice. Oh, so it's all sweets and stuff.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, drop licorice. So what's probably going to happen there is I will try one piece of it, and then I will give it to Mickey, who will eat the rest, because licorice isn't really my thing. But there's some really cool, it's like licorice all sorts, but kind of the Dutch version.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
Dutch one.
What have we got here? We've got, what the heck is this? It's like toast topping chocolate shreds.
I like it already.
Yeah, no, the regular drop licorice, I don't think there is an equivalent in the UK, but this one we do have an equivalent for. This is like licorice all sorts, they call it. But that one, very much unique. That's cool. What is this stuff? It's like chocolate toast.
Oh, mate.
What?
Looks awesome.
That's amazing. I've got Stroop waffles. Oh man, I love Stroop waffles. Anyone who knows me knows that Stroop waffles, and there's a salted caramel Stroop waffles. We don't have that in the UK. Salted caramel Stroop waffles. Oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah, I've definitely seen packets of them downstairs.
Oh yeah, in and out. I don't know what on earth this thing is. Trademarked. What is... So he's put 4 emergency strap locks in, he says, which are actually the things that pop off the off Grolsch bottles. You know, you've got Grolsch bottles, you can stick these on your guitar straps and your guitar strap doesn't come off. Genius. And I want to know what this blue thing is. Strobe waffles. Oh, apparently it's pronounced strobe waffles rather than Stroop waffles. It's strobe waffles. Ah. It's a nose flute. Okay.
Play it.
It says, be pleasantly surprised if you can play Mary Had a Little Lamb on that within half an hour. I have no idea how this works, but yeah, I may not have a Peruvian nose flute, but I have a Dutch nose flute, and that's pretty close.
Try and play it.
I'm already trying to play it. I have no idea, absolutely no idea, because there's air goes.
If it's a nose flute, surely you got to blow with your nose. Put that in your mouth. Put that bit in your mouth. Bite down on the bottom bit, so the other bit goes under your nose. Other way around. Other way around. Yeah, like that. Bite on that, and then blow with your nose.
No, that makes no sense to me. I'm gonna have to find some sort of tutorial for that. Because yeah, if Marty says it'll take me half an hour,
you don't blow through your nose. You weren't blowing.
I'll have to work it out, honestly. If Marty says it'll take me half an hour and he'll be impressed, then I get the impression it's not going to be a 10-second thing. But thank you so much, Marty. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what a guy. Marty's our mod in chat, and he's, what a hero. Salted caramel strobe waffles. Oh my god. Oh, they are not going to last long. Well, neither are these, but... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's been... Aside from the amazing delivery from Marty there, even things like the amp... It's been a long time that a lot of these projects are finally coming to fruition. Oh, yes, it's a good work. Hold the bottom hole before your mouth. Scott, hello in chat. Everybody else, open your mouth. I'm gonna have to, honestly, I'm just gonna have to work this out because this just looks bizarre.
Although I want to see a video on how to mic up a nose flute.
Surely you use a Shure MV7 from this distance. Surely. Oh, that gin is so good. I don't usually drink gin, but it's what I had in the cupboard. So let's just chin this up a little more. And it's probably about time after that massive diversion for the news. Because there has been a lot of the news. Let us press the news button. There we go. So, Audacity 3.0.0. Everybody I know who got into recording who is younger than me or wasn't as nerdily inclined as me started with Audacity. I don't even... Audacity... Let's do the maths. Audacity probably wasn't out when I started learning because it's been out for 21 years, which is roughly when I started, which I wasn't very good, but it's when I started.
I remember it being... it was the thing that everyone, like at uni, loads of people had Audacity, even if they weren't in sort of music making. Like a lot of people in like filmmaking would use it. It was like... It was the tool that you, if you were internet sort of savvy, you would get in order to record audio and edit audio, rather than like actually recording like a band or whatever. If you needed to record like a voiceover for a video or record your lecture notes or edit an MP3 to cut something off or something.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that Audacity's it's free and it's incredibly multi-purpose. Which, yeah, I mean that's why a lot of people have it. But yeah, I mean they finally updated. Apparently they do a new version every year, but just small updates.
All right.
So yeah, it's not a dead project. It's been ticking along, little bits. I ended up using Audacity for something only last week, actually. It was a really weird niche thing I was looking for it to do that Reaper wouldn't do.
All right.
And
what was that?
I mean really niche. It was trying to trim 100+ wave files down to an exact size. Which I'll bet there's a way to do it in Reaper, but I was thinking, you know what, Audacity can probably do this simpler. It was just a specific thing I was trying to do. So yeah, I don't usually use Audacity, but yeah, apparently there's a new project file format for version 3. So yeah, the project format contains everything in a single file, which cleans up the kind of the project's file structure. I do remember using Audacity when I was at university, actually, because it can do some really funky things. Like it's got like FM synthesis generators and stuff tucked in there. So I actually made fake helicopter sounds using Audacity at one point. But then I threw them into Cubase and mixed it so it kind of was in a film space type thing. But yeah, it's free. Apparently 160 bugs have been crushed, including several high priority ones. And new analyzer called Label Sounds, which labels sounds and silences for more convenience when editing. So yeah, funky new things in Audacity. There you go. If it's something that you need, and of course you're not paying for it, go get it. Cool. Now, from the free to the probably very expensive. The headline is seriously upgraded iPad Mini, iPad Pro may be announced in April. I mean, most of it is kind of like, oh, whoop-de-doo, it's going to be faster. Why is that news? But one thing that I noticed that I thought, okay, well, this is news, is that the iPad Pro for a little while has had a USB-C connector instead of a Lightning connector. And apparently, they're going to be upgrading that to be a Thunderbolt connector. So, Thunderbolt on an iPad, that is a big indication that they're trying to merge the iPad and the iMac lines and blur the lines together more than ever. I mean, Thunderbolt also has extra knock-on effects. Like, you can send huge amounts of power through a Thunderbolt line that typical USB-C you're not supposed to be able to do. Also, like, almost zero latency for audio processing. So if you've actually got a Thunderbolt interface, then yeah, you can hook it up to your iPad and do the near zero latency crazy thing there. Which I know that since Thunderbolt can concurrently send data and power, you might be able to use something like a Thunderbolt, like a rack mount Thunderbolt interface, to have almost low latency, almost zero latency between an iPad and the interface, and have the interface charge the iPad through the same cable. So if you're one of these people who does like crazy live shows with iPad apps and stuff, and there are a few people out there, but probably more now that there are possibilities, then yeah, this is going to be something for you.
So are they're gonna have both?
Well, Thunderbolt is now a kind of an add-on to USB. So yes.
No. Yeah. So they having the Lightning port?
On the non-Pro models, apparently. The non-Pro models will have the Lightning port and the...
Won't have a lightning cable at all.
And what now?
So it won't have a lightning cable at all on the Pro model?
No, but they haven't done for a couple of years now.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they switched to USB-C.
All right.
Which, actually had some really big benefits for like audio guys, because the USB-C on even the older iPad Pros, not the Mark 1 that we've got, but the slightly newer ones, it can send out a significant amount of power from that port, so it can power some quite power-hungry devices straight off the iPad. Yeah. But when I say fairly power-hungry, I mean Thunderbolt is like 10 times that amount of power.
Yeah.
We're talking like 50 to 60 watts of power you can jam through a Thunderbolt line.
Yeah, you can power a lot of stuff off it.
Yeah, you can really, really go for it. So, there you go. If you want something, I mean, apparently the iPad mini is going to have a bigger screen. Does that mean it's a bigger iPad mini? Or does that just mean it's got a yet smaller bezel?
Yeah. I'd imagine that.
Otherwise, it's an iPad slightly less mini, which is like, well, just a regular iPad then, isn't it? But yeah, there's that. There you go. Moving on to something that's kind of relevant to me. Line 6 have issued a second safety warning for the G10 wireless systems. I have one of these, a G10 wireless. I think we might have mentioned this on the podcast a few months back, but apparently, in certain circumstances, these things, they click into the charging dock using the jack. They can catch fire. Not good. It says there's a safety warning, and I saw the word recall, but all it actually is on the recall, issued a recall. They have said you can just install the updated firmware. They've got a firmware, because there's a USB jack on the back of this, and apparently it slows the charging down on the particularly low battery thing or whatever it is, so that it doesn't generate heat, or at least it doesn't generate a worrying amount of heat. And apparently, if the systems were sold after March 2020, then they don't have this issue at all anyway. But yeah, it's worth getting the word out there. If you've got one of these, just check it. Just update that firmware. Plug the USB in, get it updated so that you're a bit more safe. You know. So yeah, apparently originally the battery itself was recalled, but now they've found a solution. So now you can just install it. It's like downloading more RAM. You can download better battery. So, moving on. New from Source Audio. The UltraWave multi-band processor. This struck me as interesting because this thing sounds like it's going to be a proper crazy noise box. So the new UltraWave multi-band processor from Source Audio combines overdrive, fuzz, tremolo, compression, noise gate, and more into a new kind of sound structure. There's a version for guitar and a version for bass. Okay, well that tells me a lot, that it's like they're expecting you to feed different audio sources in, and it's going to get a bit weird. I mean, if it's got overdrive and fuzz and tremolo and compression and all that kind of stuff as one sound effect, this isn't a multi-effect. This isn't a bit of this and a bit of that. This is just weird. I've heard stuff from Source Audio before, and you can really get some wacky sounds out of these. Yeah, apparently you can split the frequency signal from 1 to 10 frequency bands with different overdrive types, including tube, drive, diode, fold back, that's usually a synth type distortion, octave up, and weird. So yeah, you can distort different bands of this at the same time. Which, I mean, there are ways to use that in a much less insane way. It'll take some programming, but like say on bass, you could have a very slightly driven low end, really aggressive mid, and then kind of scratchy top end and blend them all together, and that could sound quite nice. But with guitar, usually the kind of guitarists who go for this, they make weird stuff. At Source Audio, some of the guitarists, I mean, think Crazy Radiohead or guys like that, when they're going off on one and making these weird squonky sounds. But this sounds like the kind of pedal where, squonky, that's a word. Didn't just make
Squonky.
that up. Yeah. But I think that encapsulates the sound of bands like Radiohead when they go off into uncharted waters, into that crazy territory. Which they do sometimes and then they don't. But yeah, the sound morphing, there's stereo ins and stereo outs on these things, which means that you can probably jam it into synths and, I don't know, drums if you're feeling particularly bananas. 37 different tape splitting options, whatever that means. So, basically you can only achieve the full potential via the Neuro desktop editor or the mobile app. So this isn't the kind of thing where every control will be at your fingertips mid-show. But, yeah. Bananas.
Interesting.
Yeah, price to be confirmed. But yeah, some of the controls are at your fingertips, but yeah, there you go. There's a lot of weirdness packed in one pedal, but that's Source Audio for you. So we talked about this last week, Pedals the Musical. Do you remember me saying that I wasn't sure if it was a joke?
Yeah.
It was real. And I saw it. And it was terrible, and it was dire, and it was gruesome, and I loved it. It wasn't that bad. It was kind of, they wrote the whole thing, musical directed it. It was a live show. It was a full musical with a live band, dancers, scripts, 2 sets, the works. It was kind of like, imagine if a university like drama department had to come up with and produce their own musical in a span of 8 weeks or whatever it is. It was like that, because there was no crowd, for obvious reasons. But yeah, they had. It turns out that Josh Scott, who makes Pedals the Musical, his wife is in the theatre industry, and all their friends are either in the guitar industry or in the theatre industry. And so there are a lot of out of work actors right now and the whole crew. And so they got Sweetwater, who are one of the biggest retailers in the US, to pay all the actors and all the staff and everything to make this production. So, and instead of having a live audience, they live broadcasted it to the internet. And they actually did it 2 nights in a row. And it was quite funny, actually, because it was all about the history of guitar pedals right the way through the 60s. And they had musical numbers for every key pedal. And it was bananas. And quite an impressive feat, actually. Yeah. But it was... it was different. And yeah, it's like a 29-minute musical, so it wasn't like the next Les Mis or anything like that, which, thank God, because that would be taking the joke a bit too far.
Yeah, maybe.
But this is the kind of thing where, like, this is why JHS are taking over for guitar pedals on the YouTube front, because when they commit to something, they commit. Sometimes you can't tell if Josh is joking on the channel because he's got such a dry, deadpan delivery. Which is why I wasn't even sure if this was real until I saw it. But hats off. They even
take some cojones.
Absolutely. They even did an hour-long, like behind the scenes, like almost post-mortem type live show yesterday, I think it was. And I watched that on Catch Up today while I was in the studio doing capture work, which is what I do. Because I was capturing a new cabinet for Two Notes, which is one of mine, so I can talk about it. And that was because Celestine sent me the hemp back. I'm making a cab called 420 Blaze Tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brr, 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 brr. But the thing with captures is there's a lot of setup and a lot of messing around. So I usually have long form YouTube videos going on in the background to kind of keep me company, keep me sane, because otherwise I'd just be working in silence with electric drill and sine wave sweeps, which is enough to drive anybody bonkers. So yeah, I end up watching loads of YouTube content. It's surprising how much, if you look at my watch time, it's incredible. But if you actually look at how much I pay attention to those videos, it's kind of middling at best. But yeah, I really enjoyed the bits that I tuned in for. I actually watched Pedals the Musical while I washed the dishes, which meant I could give it my full attention, because who really pays attention when you're washing the dishes? If we're all honest about ourselves.
Yeah.
Stand there. Yeah. It's almost like my meditation time every day is when I get to wash the dishes, because I can just stop thinking for a while. So there you go. Pedals the Musical. It's on YouTube now on Catch Up. Yeah, very different, and it's there. Go and watch it. Now, this caught my eye. The TC Electronics 6000, the System 6000, way back when I started production, was, in terms of digital stuff, it was like the pinnacle. The TC Electronics System 6000, it actually says somewhere in the article, with a 5-digit price tag. This was this was the digital stuff, where their digital reverbs and their compressors and like the mastering limiters and stuff like that, way back in like 99, 2000. Yeah, first appeared in 1999. This stuff was the top of the mountain as far as digital went. And that's a lot of money to pay, but studios would pay it because it was a hardware unit that had all this stuff inbuilt. And now TC have come up with the System 6000 Native series, so you can get these as plugins. And apparently it was these were made for software, native software, by the same team that made the original versions. Yeah, many of the same engineers who worked on the hardware. And they claim that the audio quality has been improved in comparison, probably because digital technology has had 20 years to evolve. They've, found ways that they were kind of not cutting corners, but making things work the best they could in 99, and now they can not have to do that. But if you like the sound of the System 6000 stuff, and I do genuinely know people like mastering engineers who still use stuff like this. Like there's Ian Shepherd from the Mastering Show used the TC Helicore, I think it was called, which was it was like an external Firewire processing unit that TC made, probably just after this, which had I think it was the same type of stuff, but it was kind of like plugins, but it all ran on the hardware. And they've obviously not been supported for years and years, because Firewire has been officially discontinued for the best part of a decade now. So, they've ported all this, reconstructed it. And so there are 5 plugins. So there's the original dynamic algorithms with 4-band EQ, 3-band compressor expander, which is what a lot of the radio guys used, soft clipping, and a redesigned peak/true peak limiter, which would have been, again, at the time, we're talking stuff like, I'm guessing, but probably stuff like Livin' La Vida Loca by, what was his name?
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin, thank you. That single was the first number 1 that was produced in Pro Tools and was roughly in that era, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fun, stupid trivia fact for you. But I wouldn't mind betting that the master was run through something like the System 6000 through the MD2. So then there's the MD4 HD native, which is a 6-band EQ and 5-band compressor, so we're really getting clever. Then there's a non-linear reverb. There's a 3-dimensional reverb. It lets you apply reverb to single elements sharing the same panning position, What? Don't know how that works, but that sounds clever. And apparently there's another one that's designed for music and post-production. Now, each one of these is $199 each, or a couple of them are $249, which is a lot. Or the bundle that is all 5 plugins is $699, which is a fair bit for plugins. But if you know what you like, if you know what those sounds are, and you swear by them in your production, you can now turn off the old digital units you've been relying on that are probably past their sell-by date and get the same sounds in the box for less than a tenth of what it probably cost you to get that box.
Seems legit.
So there you go. It's not cheap, but this has a niche market, I'm going to bet. And also, I wouldn't mind betting that after 6 or 12 months, there'll be a massive sale. But at first, this is going to go out to the exact people who know what it is and want it. And then when that small niche has been satisfied, sale, sale, sale. So, moving on.
Cool though. History there as well.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, as an audio nerd, back in 2004, 2005, if you'd said to me, hey, do you want to do your mastering through a 6000, I would have been like, yes, please. Because at the time, they were still the thing, even though they'd been out for 5 years. Hello, everybody in chat. Welcome, welcome. Make yourselves at home. So,
hello.
This made me laugh. Fender's American Acoustasonic Jazzmaster. These look pretty cool. I mean, there's like a nice blue, or is it seafoam? It's not seafoam. There's like a deeper cyan almost Jazzmaster Acoustasonic here. They sound really nice, but what made me laugh is that almost every major YouTube guitarist was sent one and probably got paid to do the videos, or at least is supposed to be paid to do the videos, because at least one of my friends who did a video for Fender 7 months ago still hasn't been paid. And yeah, typical large company, don't care about the little guy. But yeah, there were about 20 videos on this that dropped like on the same minute, which means there must have been a timed embargo.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, timed embargoes really kind of annoy me with stuff like this. Not just stuff like this, with things like computer parts and graphics cards and technology in general. It's like, here's 20 videos all about the exact same thing that all released within a minute of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee you I'm going to watch one of those videos at most.
Yeah, pick your favourite.
Yeah, it's actually dilution rather than concentration, if you think about it that way. Because if 10 big name YouTubers put out videos about a piece of gear over a week or two, I might end up watching a few of them to get different perspectives. But the way the subscription works on YouTube, I get a big line, a big list or a big block of all these videos. So I pick one, and then the next day that block has all disappeared down the list. Bye-bye. So, yeah. Funny.
I mean, the idea is to try and create a splash. So I think the idea to a degree is that if you've watched one of the videos, then the brand is happy. And if all of those influencers are all talking about it at the same time, it's more likely that their product to them get trending and reach out to people outside of their circles.
Sure. Okay.
That's the thinking behind it.
To a point, it's kind of works, because even though I'm complaining about it, here it is on our podcast. You know, it's prompted me to talk about it. So in some ways, yeah, they're doing something right, for sure.
I guess to a degree, it's that you're the niche case of you would like to hear other people's view about a product to that level. A lot of people just they have one person that they trust and they want their opinion on it. Whereas you're the Uber fan.
Maybe, but I mean, a lot of the people that I know that are our regular viewers who watch guitar YouTube channels don't watch one YouTube guitar channel, they watch several.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Our community, are all super geeks. Like we're a community of. That's why people watch you, because that's the thing. Like they identify with you because you're like them, and but then you go out and spend. Your job is to go and curate all of the different stuff and say, hey, have you seen these things? And then you suggest things that other people haven't seen, and they suggest things that you haven't seen, and it grows as a community together.
That makes sense. But I mean, the guitar community is a little different, I think, because it's so much bigger. There's a lot more casual viewership. But even in that, I think even the most casual viewer in the guitar YouTube community is probably going to subscribe to several of these people, which means that even those people are going to get battered with several videos about the same product at the same time. So even the casuals are going to be overwhelmed, which is, in my case, absolutely. I'm the exception completely. But I don't know. It's like there's one guy that I know, Carl Golden. He actually put up a little YouTube short about he showed his subscription feed, and there were, no word of a lie, 20 of these videos just in a big block. It's just like, whoa! I don't subscribe to that many YouTube guitarists actually, because I don't have the time to watch them all. And I know that it would just pollute my subscription feed to the point where I couldn't keep up, you know. I have to be a little bit selective with my subscription feed now, because otherwise it's just the stuff I really want to watch just gets kind of pushed away on this river of content. Oh, he's got a call. Okay. But yeah, there's now the Strat and the Tele version. Oh, so expensive though. $2,000 for one of these things. Woof. And they don't come with a hard case. Typical. I mean, if they sent me one to keep, I'd probably keep it. But I can't see any use cases for me. Because for the sound of acoustics, I put microphones in front of a real acoustic. And in terms of electrics, I go with Real Electrics. So, let's...
Hello?
Hello, he returns.
Yeah, no, someone trying to book into the studio.
Oh.
At 10 to 9 on a Thursday.
Wow, okay.
He's like, I'm just on your channel, and I'm like, well, come and talk to us on the podcast because I'm currently live.
Yeah. Awesome.
It sounded like it was someone wanting to come in, which obviously he can't do yet anyway. So, but maybe soon.
Maybe. I mean, that would be nice. I'll find a slot in my busy schedule, but...
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Poonan just says, just search puppy like 800 times and your feed will get very silly. Yes. Quite.
Search what now?
Puppy, the word puppy.
All right.
I mean, that would make your home feed very silly. It wouldn't change my subscription feed much. Yeah, like Willie Whiskey Wonka says, these might make sense for live sessions, but at $2,000? No, I'm good. If they were $500 for one of these, I'd consider it, but at that price, we're talking Dream Guitar territory at $2,000.
Yeah.
And I'd rather spend $1,000 on a really nice acoustic and $1,000 on a really nice electric, rather than $2,000 on something that doesn't really know what it wants to be. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, let's move on. I thought this was kind of cool. The new Epiphone Emily Wolf Sheraton Stealth is no ordinary looking semi-hollow. So Emily Wolf is a blues rocker from Texas. I have heard some of her stuff. She's pretty cool. And yeah, I am all for more signature models for women guitarists. Raise the profile. Why not? And it looks awesome. It's like it's basically the Dave Grohl signature in some ways, because it's got the diamond inlays, like the Trini Lopez and Dave Grohl. But it's an affordable Epiphone with a nice big flower on the headstock and what looks like a more usable electronics layout, because it's got 3 pots instead of the usual 4. which I've never personally got on with the 4-pot thing. I know it's for some people. Some people get it, but nah, not me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there you go. So there's a video about it, and the price is €819, which is a little on the high side for an Epiphone, but really well made. Really well made 335s do cost a lot, full stop, because they're actually a cow to build, apparently.
Okay.
Because there's no back plate, so all the electronics and everything, they have to go in through the hole.
All right.
Yeah, that's why if ever you take one of these guitars, whether it's a real Gibson or an Epiphone, to a repairman and say the electronics are broke, they will look at you like you just stabbed someone. It's like, no. Yeah, my dad had one, a Gibson 355, which is like the deluxe version, and all the electronics were knackered, and his mate's a guitar tech, and his mate now doesn't talk to him. How much does shipping affect the price? Over here, generally just add $1,000 for shipping. Rob from New Zealand says, well, unfortunately, that's New Zealand for you. I mean, getting guitars on a spaceship to send them to a different planet, that adds some cost. New Zealand is on a different planet, right? It's like just get to the moon, go left, go to Australia, then a little further down. Now, from that to something a bit more techie, the new Eve Audio 4070 studio monitor. These are absolute monsters. Look at that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh. Naughty.
Naughty indeed. So I've been thinking about getting some Eve monitors for a while now. And I think it's the 3070s I was looking at, that it was kind of, if you take one of these bigger speakers off, that's what they are. So they're kind of that minus one of them. And yeah, I might have changed my mind.
All right.
That's a monster. Monster.
How much are they?
Lots, unfortunately. The list price is €2,400 each.
Ooh.
Each. Yeah. So maybe not. That's. I mean, seeing as I'm doing some of my life's best work at the moment on this pair of headphones, it does beg the question. But you know,
I best keep trying to digging out these Doze wallets that we've got somewhere.
Oh,
You know what? I don't know whether I told you. Like, I'm pretty sure we had about 25 quid in Dogecoin from when we were mining.
Yeah.
Because I know it was almost enough to pay for electricity, and we did it for about a month. Do you know how much $25 in Dogecoin from when we were doing it to now is?
You're gonna tell me it's like 25 grand, aren't you?
Not quite. It's 9 grand.
What?
Yeah.
Willie in chat says that's more expensive than Amphions, right? No, it is not. Amphions in this configuration, which would be the 218 speakers, which are the ones that my mate John Brown has, they're about 6 grand a pair. Whereas this would be only a measly 4.8 grand.
Just buy one and then quickly flick between left and right and do this.
Just move my head really fast, yeah.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Oh, can you not set like one side of it to be the left and one side to be the right and put your head in the middle of it?
Could try and make that work. Oh, man.
They're nice, though. They're really slick.
They are really nice. You can, from you take the middle panel and you flip it round, which is why you can have the same speaker be vertical or horizontal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you actually have to like unscrew it to do that, or?
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing you do once.
Yeah.
So yeah. Podrick says chump change, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's just the kind of money you find down the back of the sofa. Just keep digging. Like, if I dig down the back of this chair here, I mean, I've just found £1. If I keep digging... No, I didn't find £1. That was on the side. That's just a crap joke. But, yeah, I mean, these are better be good for that kind of money. But I'll bet they are. I mean, Yeah. They better be for that kind of price. But yeah, I do have the subwoofers though, so I might get the 3070s. I might not get them at all. It depends how we go. But it's something I've been thinking about.
Cool. I don't think you've done a video on it, but I know you've talked about it before. The difference in whether to pay more for speakers or improve your room and where the balance comes from it, I think would make quite a cool piece of content. Because and you've also obviously got software and stuff that you can use, measuring tools and things that you've talked about and done. So I think that's interesting, isn't it? That there's a point where buying these speakers would be a waste of money if you haven't got the right room for them.
Yeah. Oh,
and you
definitely.
Get better improvement by improving your room with your crappy speakers.
It's funny, you can get really cheap speakers, and if you've got a really good room, then they actually sound really good. Yeah, that does make me think. It's something I've been thinking about with our control room, actually. Our control room's really good because we put a lot of time and investment into it. But even then, sometimes I can hear certain reflections in there that I would need to get somebody in who really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, because it was because that beam in the middle, wasn't it? Like you were getting some like weird echoes into the back of the room, and then you'd spent all the time sort of treating it.
Yeah.
But there was a definite difference in the bass from when you were stood from the door to being at the desk.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of area because it's a really weird shaped room, which has got good and bad features to it in that.
Absolutely,
respect.
Yeah. Our control room is really good for audio and has a couple of weird sticking points. Imagine an L shape that has a curve on the corner of the L.
And also then a big beam and some other cutouts. And
yeah. I mean, there's one thing we can say for sure is it's not a square box of a room.
No, not at all. It's got full-on curved rooms, and two of the walls leading floating walls at the very least anyway, but lead into other rooms, and two of the walls just lead into earth because it's underground.
Yes.
So
which is a big plus because the isolation and the bass trapping on those sides is basically perfect. But it's just
And so that's one of the big. That's not really thought of that before. Given how, like, you can't compete with that on the other side of the room because it is just the earth.
Yeah.
So you're always going to struggle to a degree with how good one side is.
Yeah, we can look at it again because it might be worth that conversation. Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, but going back to the point, like I think it's interesting, isn't it? Then that those conversations do come into when it comes to speakers.
Yes, absolutely.
You might look at it and think, "Oh, I want new speakers because it's a new shiny thing." But like, what would happen if you spent like $4,000? If you spent $4,000 on your room, depending on what room you've got, how would it improve the current speakers you've got?
Yeah, absolutely. Marty says you're in the basement of an inn, right? I mean, a former hotel, don't you know?
I mean, it is.
Yes.
I mean, it is an inn. I mean, where I live is the old inn. Basically, it's the old hotel part of it. Because it is. It used to be a hotel and a pub, which is very much an inn.
Yes. But yeah,
I can be an innkeeper. I've never thought of that before.
Yes, you are an innkeeper. So when you do your D&D campaigns, that can be your character.
I'm an innkeeper. I love it.
You can do it in method. Method acting. But yeah. I mean, our studio is big because the building is big. But yeah, it's an interesting layout. But yeah, if you've got the room to suit these are contenders. They are basically main monitors rather than near fields. So yeah, active midfield / main monitors. So these are also what you call the people pleasers. Because you can crank them up and people sat on the sofas at the back are just like, yeah, it's great. When they peel themselves off the wall. Yeah. So yeah, from that, they were probably going to show these off at Music Messe. Music Messe isn't happening. But they plan to return revitalized in 2022. And so, yes. A Music Messer is kind of like the European equivalent of NAMM, but not as big because NAMM is NAMM. But yes, apparently they're proposing a press release says they're working closely with the industry to develop concepts for 2022. When we get to that year, that's just all I'm going to say is 2022 because it's got a rhythm to it. Willie says, what difference will it make between placing them vertically and horizontally? Those speakers, going back a bit. Vertically, they fit in a smaller space. Horizontally, they fit in a wider space, but they're less likely to fall over.
So sonically, no different then?
I don't think so. Because you can take the midsection out and rotate it to match the orientation that you're in, that means that shouldn't affect the sound. Really. I mean, some boffin somewhere is going to be like, actually, but I'll bet the sound difference is so minute that it's that more of a... Go on.
I'm going to say that also depend then on also how you've got your speakers mounted. Like, if you've got them, I'd imagine if you've got them sideways, just on a like hollow table, it is going to make a difference.
Compared to having like an acoustic guitar, yeah.
Whereas if you've got them on proper slates with some weight behind them, then having them either side isn't going to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when they're horizontal, also they're the kind of speakers, if they're considering them to be main field monitors, that you would actually mount them into the wall. So you would bring the wall out and stuff that full of rock wool, and then just have cutouts for those monitors. Because then there's no physical way that the sound can go backwards and bounce for that double effect, because that all just gets absorbed into the mass of rock wool that's around the speakers. Then they call that soffit mounting, and that's why you see in a lot of big studios, you look above you at the console and there's two speakers just poking out the wall. That's why they do that, because then it's not that's where the wall is. The wall's about 4 feet behind, or maybe even 6 feet behind, but they've built it out and filled it full of sound deadening material and put the speakers in that. Yeah, it makes the room smaller, which is why you need to start with a really big building. But it means that you get that sonically ideal setup, because there's nowhere for the bad sound to go, quote unquote bad sound. Yeah, the downside to doing that and soffit mounting is because a lot of the sound actually radiates out the back and the sides of the speaker because of the way that physics works. The speakers sound a lot quieter because a lot of the sound's being absorbed and only the sound coming at you is actually physically coming at you. So you need really high power speakers, and you start cranking the volume on them to get the same level that you would have had out of the much smaller speakers that were just sat in the room. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts. Yeah. Anywho, yes, Marty says, yeah, Music Messer's gone down over the last few years. They better improve. Oh, interesting. Yeah, manufacturers and punters seem to have lost interest in Music Messer. That's a shame. I was thinking about going to Music Messer last year or the year before. Never ended up happening, but yeah, it seems like it's less of an event than it used to be. Hopefully they bring that back. But I think a lot of companies have just decided to start doing all their big announcements at NAMM, because there's two NAMMs, there's Winter and Summer NAMM. Why not wait for one of those, I guess? Or do just a big internet launch. It's not that weird now to just launch your products as and when you feel like it. So yeah, there you go. And finally, I thought I'd mention this because it's technically Behringer Corner. If you buy an audio interface, you can get Amplitube 5 SE for free, which SE, of course, stands for edition, because it's missing half of the stuff. But it's still there and it's still yours. There's a big list, and this is what surprised me, is that this list of... this is from Thomann, so it's like a Thomann special offer. If you order any of these Focusrite Scarlett interfaces, Mackie Onyx, PreSonus Audio Box, Steinberg UR22s, and Behringer U-Phoria, including the worst interface I've ever owned, the UMC22. There's one in a box there. I will not get it out because it does not deserve daylight because it's that bad. And the 202 and 204 HD, which are actually okay. And so, yeah, apparently it's €169 value for Amplitude 5 SE. So, yeah, if you buy yourself a €30 or €40 interface, the cheapest one, you'll get Amplitude 5 SE. There you go. Hey. So if you actually wanted Amplitude, didn't really need every single thing that comes with it, then, yeah.
You could buy a crappy Behringer box, throw it against the wall, and then...
and come out €120 better off, yeah. And so, that was Zenews! There we go. Yes, so what a week it has been. I also took a phone call yesterday from a company for, I've been saying, these projects I can't talk about. I took a phone call yesterday for another project that I can't talk about. So as one ends, another one begins. It's just a backlog of things I can't tell you about these days. It's getting silly.
I just changed the podcast. This is the podcast we can't tell you about.
Yeah, the podcast's under NDA. You've all got to sign an NDA and we can talk to you then. Yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to happily sit and put chocolate on my toast. That is amazing. Milk chocolate.
I want the blue one.
You want the blue one? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll bring you the blue one. You can have the blue one.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there you go. And I'll have the red one.
Gonna have toast next week.
You can have what next week?
We can make some chocolate toast for next week, and we can both try it together.
Chocolate toast. The oldest memes. It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out. I want to know kind of what these licorice are, but I'm not a fan of licorice.
Maybe because you've never had Dutch licorice.
Maybe that's it. Maybe English licorice is just terrible.
It does have quite a varied taste, licorice, in all honesty. It's a little bit like peanut butter, I find. Like, really crap peanut butter is awful. Really good peanut butter, it doesn't taste like the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you can get licorice that really doesn't have much actual licorice in it, it's just mostly sugar and artificialness.
That sounds good to me. Sugar and artificialness. That's what I like when I'm... Tomorrow I'm going to get my coffee. I'm going to be sat here at this desk doing more editing on the Celestian video. Hopefully I can get most of that done tomorrow now all the footage is done. And I'm going to get myself a nice hot black coffee and take one of these and just sit it on top of the coffee so that the caramel inside melts. That is the way that you eat these strobe waffles. That is the best. So that is what I'm going to do. So again, thank you, Marty, our mod in chat. And thank you to everyone on Patreon. Yeah. We've had a massive influx on Patreon recently. Acoustic has become one of our $10 donators. So I think as Danny. And we've just had another one today, actually. I had the email came through just before the stream. Yeah, from
Adam in waffle noodle strudels.
Waffle noodles, strobe waffles. From
waffle.
Gustav Ronanda became a $10 patron, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. It really helps.
You join the Discord, and you should be getting your badges for everything.
Yes. Yeah. If anyone needs anything updated on Patreon on the Discord, I've been doing it manually recently because
is it syncing through?
Well, it turns out that the Patreon bot isn't the best at doing that. But if it doesn't, then that's okay. I've made the rules. I'll do it all. Not a problem. But yeah, it means that Danny can now be a mod in our chat. So if there's anyone coming in causing trouble, causing a stink, we can just banhammer, bang. We had to ban someone yesterday on the chat. That was funny.
All right.
roughly every stream we get one crazy. And
yeah,
sometimes I think it's bots. Sometimes I think it's somebody that is just a bit crazy. But it's hard to tell because when someone comes into the chat that you've not seen before and is spouting all sorts of nonsense, you're just like, is this automated? Hard to tell.
Hello, Brazil.
Hello, Brazil. It's really, really nice that the entire of Brazil is in the chat. That's quite impressive. How did you all fit in there? Poo Ninja says, apparently Henning doesn't think that pizza grease makes a good fretboard lubricant. That is an amazing way to make your fretboard nice and smooth, pizza grease. I'm trying to think who it was. There's a well-known guitarist whose rider for live touring includes a bag of crisps, potato chips for the Americans, where they'll open it. If they're hungry, obviously they'll eat them, but if they're not hungry, they'll open it, rustle their hand around inside those potato chips, inside the crisps, shake it off, just enough fine amount of grease that it keeps the guitar hand nice and slick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which sounds really stupid, but if you think there are other guitarists who pay a lot of money for this stuff called Fast Fret, which is a spray that you spray on the fretboard that kind of does the same thing. Say, hey, it's a good way to save money and also make sure that you're getting fed if you're hungry and on tour and poor. Yes.
It's weird people do weird things, and I love it.
Yeah, guitarists, man, they're all crazy. We're all a little bit crazy, but there you go. Anyone got any more questions before we have to head out? Because if not, that is the time for me to go and start uploading the podcast and then try and diffuse my brain a little more tonight and go and back up more games to the PlayStation. Because yeah, it's been a lot of fun learning about something geeky that isn't music tech for a while, just because, like I say, it's a brain break. There's so many people that, like, sometimes I do get a little bit burnt out doing this kind of thing, and people say, yeah, go and have a rest, go and have a break, and I'm like, I appreciate the sentiment, but if I just go and have a rest, I'm just going to stand there and zone out like I'm broken for a while, and I won't have actually done anything. What works for me in terms of being a reset is to do more stuff, but just something completely different. So I can almost go back to basics and not be trying to calculate 20 things in my head at the same time and just be like, okay, this no worky. Why this no worky? Research. Google, 20 tabs later.
Yeah, I did that earlier. Well, it was last year now, wasn't it? I think, where downloading my old Pokemon Blue cartridge off so I could back it up.
Yeah.
Put it on some, like, that sort of stuff.
Exactly that kind of stuff where it's just a little bit off the beaten path. But yeah, so Danny says, is the Blaze 420 IR going to be on 2 notes? Yes, that's the plan. So I did the full 2 notes capture system for that today, although I got some cheeky photos, slightly blurry when I try and show that, but it's a green speaker. I can't tell if the hemp is green or they've just dyed it for the meme factor, but it sounded really good. It sounded really chunky, actually. Just none of that typical bite that you get from a lot of Celestion kind of speakers, which made me think, I wonder if I blend this with a really bright speaker, that'll get me a really good rock tone.
Yeah, you definitely do need to create a blend with the.
So it's not too much for you. Yeah. Just mellow it out a little bit.
I'm going to say, make sure you don't get the cone too hot. You might end up pretty chilled out.
Yeah. Just hotbox the whole thing. Oh, yeah. That's a point. We need to officially knight Al as one of the moderators. I hereby...
You could call it... Oh, go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
I hereby officially dub the Alcoustic moderator. Da.
Why don't you call it the Blaze 420 Hotbox?
I could do that if I do a 212 version or something.
Oh, they could do a different one, which is the Hotbox version.
Yeah. I want to just call this 420 Blaze Tone, because that just gets the point across.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could do a second one. Danny saying, is there going to be more live mixes from the 16-year-old? That would be Erin Snape. No plans at this time. She's incredibly busy. But I'm going to keep in touch with her, see if there's anything more she wants to do. But she's in the middle of her A-levels, so no pressure. But yes, I would very much like to do more stuff with Erin, because it's completely off the beaten path from the usual rock and metal stuff that I do, and it's just lovely music to work on. Which, it's the whole brain break thing of doing something just a little different. But yeah, she's apparently been scouted by A&R people, so we'll definitely see her again some point, I'm very sure, whether it be on national radio or on this channel. So, you know when someone's that good, you just know straight away. So yeah, if she actually pursues this career path, which is an insane thing for anyone to do, really, but I mean, with that amount of talent, that kind of loads the dice in your favor. So, yes. There you go.
Right, well, on that note...
Oh, one more quick one. Rohit says, am I still enjoying the Arturia 8 Pre? Yes, very much so. I still use it really often. It's really, really good. I was using it on the Celestion project a little bit, but then I switched to Audient for technical reasons. But yeah, the Arturia stuff is really, really good. So, yes. Okay.
Oh, one other thing.
Go on.
Every single person in this chat right now, the only thing, this video, it's completely free. The only thing you need to do is hit the like button. Because I bet none of you have hit the like button yet. Hit it.
It's always, with your finger. It's very much appreciated when you click the thumb up button. It engagements.
Yeah, not because we care, just because, like, more than ever, it affects the algorithm with YouTube. And you hear it in every effing Jeffin not saying that word video.
we have to.
We have to say that, because I almost said that word, which might get us like downgraded by 10. So we need at least 10 likes to go above that word that I didn't say.
Yes, we couldn't give a what. Yes. But yes,
it's amazing. Like, people I've seen recently, like, flying up through algorithms, because literally every 5 minutes, all they say is hit the like button, hit the like button. And it's making I've seen like channels go from, some channels that I've been watching at the moment, gone from 19,000 subscribers to 70,000 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Right, from live streaming, just because they're making sure that everyone who's in the chat that comes in at different points is liking the videos. And these are channels that I got recommended, so it was definitely like the algorithm recommended it to me.
Right. Wow. I mean, absolutely. It's always been a thing. That's something I'll keep in mind when I edit this Celestion video tomorrow. Is I'll regularly put little pop-ups that say please like, share, subscribe. They used to call it the YouTuber's prayer. You know, like, share, and subscribe.
The thing is, it's just making people aware that it's not because like you care or we care. It's like it's just so that it can go out. It's for the algorithm. It's just so it goes out to other people.
Yeah,
like to help grow the channel.
That's
making it clear to people why it's important for us. It is just that to help grow the channel.
Yeah, I think there's a certain percentage. On average, we get about 10% likes to views, which is quite good. But I think there's a certain ratio above which, if they can work out it's not spam, it's actual people and they're actually pressing it, then it must be good content. And if it must be good content, then they want that to be at the top of the pile. Makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, it's, as you say, it's engagement. So it shows it's not passive viewers. Like, there's a big difference between, because the thing is, if you're willing to click a like video, you're also potentially willing to click an advert, and that's what they care about.
Yes.
They want people that will click things.
Absolutely. So yes, thank you everybody. Please do hit that button because of this conversation about the engagements, and hopefully if you all press that button, then we'll be able to see you another day. And so yes, I'll upload this now on the podcast, the MP3 stuff, along with last week, because I forgot because I'm stupid. And so if you're hearing 2 weeks in a row, I apologize. If you're hearing more than 2 weeks in a row, then hey, you've got a long drive that you're doing with some podcast listening. So yeah, enjoy your drive. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night for another live mix stream on the Sky Asylum album. And then I have a big filming project over the weekend, which I can't tell you about, but I'll be able to tell you about very soon, probably on the next podcast. So,
awesome.
Fun times. Cheers, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye. Hey, everyone. That might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server. Link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hop Hole Studios. See you there.